You're watching Anderson County Sports TV.
Good evening, everyone. This is Anderson County Sports TV, and before the game, we're bringing you the 8th grade football recognition night. It was supposed to have been here on the field last week, and because of the field conditions, they weren't allowed to play on the field, so they're doing 8th grade recognition night tonight. The Mustangs finished 3-6 on the year, finished 6th in the Salt River Valley Conference. They beat Lincoln County last night 38-7. It was a really good end to the conference season. There are 16 8th graders this year. It's a hard-working group. There's a lot of potential there, and look forward to seeing these young men wearing red and white next year. The first player is number 1, Kenyon Maxberry, escorted by his mom, Sissy Washington, dad, William Marksberry, brother, Brendan Maxberry, and sister, Layla Bell. Kenyon to grow a little bit, get up to the size of big brother. Kenyon Maxberry played 2 years for the Mustangs. Next, we have a pair of twins, number 2, Sam Davis, number 84, Jack Davis. Sam plays quarterback and safety. Jack plays tight end, defensive end. He's played 1 year and plays basketball. They're escorted by their mom, Molly Cummins, dad, John Davis, and sister, Carolyn Davis. And as you can probably tell, we've got a good wind up here tonight. We've got rain clouds off to our left here, and hopefully it'll hold off because it looks like it's clearing up behind. Next is number 3, Cole Harrod, escorted by mom, Angie McGahee, dad, Mike Harrod, and brother, Cameron Harrod. He plays wide receiver and defensive backs. He's played for 3 years, and he wrestles. Cole Harrod. Next, we have number 50, Tanner Watts. He plays offensive and defensive line. He's been a 3-year player. He's escorted by his dad, Mark Watts, mom, Tasha Harrod, sister, Addison Watts, brother, Cody Becknell, and stepdad, Chris McGahee. Next, we have number 4, Caleb Robinson. He's escorted by his mom, Shannon Robinson, brother, Jay Robinson, uncle, Eric Robinson, and grandfather, Jay Watkins. Plays wide receiver and linebacker. He's played for 2 years, and he also wrestles. Next, we have number 5, Brady Clank, escorted by his parents, Melissa and Brian Clank, brother Brendan, who also is on the Bearcat team, plays running back and linebacker, played for 3 years, and also plays baseball. Next, we have number 14, Taylor Snipes. He's escorted by his mom, Greta Hensley, stepfather, Dalton Hensley, sister, Emma Brenner, plays wide receiver and safety. He's played for 2 years, also plays basketball, baseball, and is on the high school golf team. Taylor Snipes. Next, we have number 42, Chase Barney. He's escorted by his mom, Cassie Barney, and dad, Chuck Barney. Plays fullback, tight end, and linebacker. He's played for 3 years, and he also wrestles. Next, we have 43, Jacob Richmond. He's escorted by his dad, David Richmond, Pam Ogden, and Sarah Richmond. Played fullback and linebacker, played for 2 years. He also wrestles. Next we have number 52, Malachi Zeller, escorted by his dad, Jeremy, mom, Kristen, sister, Emma, and Malachi's my old partner Dale's grandson. It's a real shame that Dale couldn't be here to see this. I know he'd be proud. But as we say, I'm glad he's watching from the best seat in the house, and he's not getting wet. Next we have Nick Bell, escorted by his dad, Tom, mother, Beth Shepard, plays offensive and defensive line, and he's played for 3 years. Next, number 63, Josh Brooks, escorted by mom, Leslie Robinson, stepfather, Stephen Settles, grandparents, Pam and Roger Conley, plays offensive and defensive line. He's a 3-year player, and he also wrestles. Next is number 66, Lakin Gross, escorted by Melinda Buffin and Kenneth Gross. He plays offensive and defensive line. This is the first year that he's played. And last, let's see here, we've got number 67, James Branscombe, escorted by his mom, Angela Branscombe, plays offensive and defensive line. He's played 1 year, and he also wrestles. And last we have number 80, Dustin Hensler, escorted by mom, April Hensler, dad, James Hensler, and brother Connor Hensler, who plays for the Bearcats. Played wide receiver and defensive back, and he's played for 3 years. So hopefully we're getting all of these Mustangs up here so they can become Bearcats next year. And hopefully the rain will stop so we can get this game in with a minimum of distractions. And we'll be back here in just a little while with the pregame and the kickoff.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. And by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. That's Anderson Apothecary.
After an hour lightning delay, the real season starts as Anderson takes on Woodford County in the first of 3 district games. Last week's game against Grant County went as expected, with Anderson having a running clock with 9:16 to go in the second quarter. Scrap Russell led the Cats with 3 touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving, and 1 on a blocked field goal. He also had a 2-point conversion, which gave him 190 yards in total offense. Brendan Maxbury chimed in with over 100 yards rushing and 2 TDs, and Charles Collins had the other TD. Wesley Rewind kicked all 6 extra points, and Jagger Gillis was 4 out of 5 passing for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Defensively, the Cats held Grant in check, but a string of penalties on Grant's first drive ended in a blocked field goal run back by Russell. Darian Derringer led the Cats with 6 tackles, followed by Aaron Chilton with 5.5. Chilton also had an interception as the JV and freshman played most of the last 3 periods. At 1-5, the Cats can't take Woodford lightly. Woodford changed their offense after the first 2 games, and they're averaging 40 points per game the last 4 games, even though they've just won one of those. Coach Peach has told the team over and over this week not to ignore the Woodford record and look ahead to the next 2 weeks when the Cats have Montgomery and Madison Southern. And like I said, after we're getting ready to have the coin toss, get this game underway after a long delay. Anderson sends its captains out. They've got Justin Wilhoit, Brandon Aldridge, Aaron Chilton, and Brendan Maxberry. And surprisingly enough, there's been a pretty good crowd stuck around from this hour delay. The students are all still here. So we're going to be getting this game started here in just a few minutes. Like I said, Woodford County looks remarkably like Georgia Tech, who runs the same type of offense that Woodford does. If you've been watching Georgia Tech and Louisville on TV, you're going to pretty much see the same thing here. Anderson won the toss, and they'll receive. And we've got a pretty good wind blowing here from left to right and across the field. Woodford's quarterback now is number 24, Lee Gajenji, and he runs pretty well, 28-2. Rice and Clark are the alternating fullbacks. Now, what you have to do against this particular type of offense is that you got the defense. Everybody has to take a man and stick with it. One linebacker will have the quarterback. One linebacker will have the fullback, and an end or a linebacker will have the dive back. So it takes one mistake, and you've gone a long way. And we'll be getting this game going in just a few minutes. And here come the Bearcats. And the receiving teams is out there with Joe Taylor, Ross Chapman, John Michael Woolhams, Scrap Russell, Brendan Maxberry, Charles Alexander Collins, Justin Wilhoit, Brandon Aldridge, Chase Fink, and Jacob Redmond. Now, if you looking at the scouting report, Woodford County pooches it either to the left hash, from the left hash, or the right hash. Collins and Russell are deep on this side. Maxberry to the far side. And it's coming to Russell at the 22, and this game's underway. And he brings it up to the 37, where Anderson will take over, 1st and 10. Anderson comes out with Stratton, Castle, Aldridge, Boudreau, Derringer, Collins, Russell, Ruwine. There's a handoff up the middle to Maxbury, and he gets 8. Second and 2 for Anderson. Anderson has 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And we got Russell has some kind of an equipment malfunction. And he's saying, "What did I do?" Okay, there goes Collins. He's gotten to the outside. He's going down the sideline, and he's dragged down on the 30-yard line of Woodford County. Have talked about Woodford County averaging 40 points a game their last 4. Trouble is they're giving up more than that. First down on the Woodford 31. Anderson has a wing, double tight. Woodford's creeping up. Maxbury pops through there, and he gets 7. Second and 3 for the Bearcats. Anderson has 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. And Gillis has got a wide open field, and he's headed for the corner, and he's into the end zone for the touchdown. That took Anderson a minute and 46 seconds. Got Ruwine in to kick. Russell to hold. And Finks the long snapper. And it's good with 10:14 to go in the first quarter. Anderson 7, Woodford nothing.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, we've got Ruwine to kick off. We've got Russell, Taylor, Chilton, Redmond, Fink, Chapman, Cornish, Maxbury, Wilhoit, and Collins. And there's the kick by Ruwine. It's a low line drive that goes out of bounds on the 5-yard line, and Woodford will take over on the 35. Anderson comes out defensively. They've got Williamson, Aldridge, Derringer, Luster, Cornish, Russell. Woodford's got 2 wides. There's handoff up the middle, and there's a gain of a couple. Tackle there was by Boudreaux. It's a gain of 2. Second and 8 for Woodford. Got 2 receivers to the far side. 2 wings. Put a man in motion. There's a mix-up in the backfield, and the quarterback's running it. He gets loose. He cuts it back. He's still going, and there's a touchdown for Woodford County. 64 yards. Anderson had him twice in the backfield and let him go. All of Anderson's players committed to the middle, and once he got around the bunch that was on the outside, that was it. Woodford lines up, kick the point. There's a snap. And it's good. It took Woodford County about 40 seconds to come back and tie the score. 9:28 to go in the first quarter. Anderson 7, Woodford 7.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, Woodford County's ready to kick off. We've had 2 touchdowns in less than 3 minutes. We've got Collins and Russell to this side. And it's taken by Russell on the 30. He's getting to the outside, going up the middle. And he's down at the 45. And brings it up to the 47-yard line where Anderson will take over. First and 10 Anderson on the 47. Anderson puts Collins in motion. Gillis is rolling. Swings it out to Will Hoyt, and it's through his hands. And they're going to get a roughing penalty on Woodford County. Now Gillis had well let that ball go when he was hit. And that'll give Anderson a first down on the Woodford 39. That pass went right through Will Hoyt's hands. Anderson puts 2 receivers this way, 1 to the far side. Put motion Collins. There's the handoff to Maxberry, and he loses a couple. Going to make it 2nd and 12. There's a counter play to Collins. He pops through there. He's got the first down, and he's got Touchdown. They're not going to catch him. Okay, let's see here. In less than 3.5 minutes, we've had 3 touchdowns. This game looks like Madden district football. That was 40 yards for Charles Collins. Got Rewind in to kick the point. There's a snap. It's a little low. Russell's taking it for the corner of the end zone, and he's in. 2-point conversion. Snap was a little low, and Russell made it to the end zone. 15-7 Bearcats. 8:43 to go in the first.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And this one is back to the 2-yard line where it's taken. Bringing it up the middle. There's a block in the back that they didn't call. And brought down over on the 36-yard line. That was Taylor and Wilhoit. First and 10 Woodford on their own 35. Woodford puts receivers left and right. They've got 2 wings and a fullback. Man in motion. Here comes the pitch this way. Looking like he's trying to pass it, and he runs right into Wilhoit and Williamson. I'm not sure that wasn't supposed to be a halfback pass. They threw that against Western Hills on the first play of the game and scored. Looked like their back brought that ball up like he was going to throw it, and that's a loss of a yard to be 2nd and 11. Woodford puts 2 wides to this side. Put a man in motion to the far side. There's the pitch to the far side. Anderson's right there. Good play by Collins and Wilhoit. That's a loss of a couple more. 3rd and 13. Woodford puts receivers to each side. 2 wings. Put a man in motion. Quarterback's rolling this way. Derringer's after him. Flips it out here. And he's out of bounds on about the 40-yard line. Brought down by Cornish. And that's going to make it 4th and 5. And looks like Woodford's going for it here on 4th and 5. Woodford puts receivers left and right. Have 2 wings. There's a snap. That's a little old short punt formation in it. I tell you what, that is not going to be a very long punt. That's going to be out of bounds at the Anderson 41-yard line, where Anderson will take over 1st and 10 with 7:07 to go in the first quarter, leading 15-7. Anderson has 2 receivers to the far side. Anderson has Gillis, Maxbury, and Collins in the backfield. Anderson has two wides and a wing to the right. There's a snap. There's Collins has the ball going to the far side. He shakes a man, and he gets a yard or so. Second and 9 for Anderson. Anderson has Will Hoyt flank to, that's rewind flank to this side. There's a counter play to Maxbury, and he spins forward for a couple. Going to be 3rd and 6 or 7. Anderson has receiver wide to this side. Put Collins in motion. There's Maxbury up the middle for the first down and more. Takes it to the, and I think we've got a face mask there on Woodford County. Got a face mask against Woodford. They'll take the ball down to the Woodford 38, be 1st and 10 Bearcats. Anderson has two wides to this side, one wide to the far side. Put Russell in motion. There's a handoff to Collins on a reverse. Good block by Maxbury. That was a pancake block by Maxbury. Collins is still going down the sideline, down to the 20-yard line. Boy, Maxbury had a pancake block there. Whoa, baby. And we've got timeout Woodford County with 5:29 to go in the first quarter, 15-7 Bearcats. Wow, boy, did you see that block Maxbury made? Shoot, baby.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, 1st and 10 Anderson on the Woodford 21. I couldn't see who that was Maxbury hit, but that young man needs to probably go get a dentist appointment, check for all his fillings come Monday. Boy, he hit him. Anderson has a receiver wide to this side. A wing. There's a handoff to Maxbury, and he's thrown for a loss. Second and 11. Five minutes to go in the first quarter. And we've got timeout Anderson.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Looks like they've got two receivers to this side, one to the far side. There's a snap. Gillis is back. He's got Max Berry wide open for the touchdown. He had Max Berry right in the seam for the touchdown. And we've got a lot of goings on here in the middle of the field. Shoving, pushing, shoving. There was I couldn't tell what. I looked down there, and there were two Woodford players on top of Gillis, and they were pushing and shoving, and there's a bunch of flags out there. Okay, they've got unsportsmanlike. Let me see what we got here. Okay, let's see what we got here. Unsportsmanlike on Anderson. And we've got an ejection for somebody. Personal foul, Woodford. So let's see what we're still discussing this. Okay, we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out who they ejected. Hang on just a minute. Okay, we're out there. The officials and Coach Peach are out there discussing who's been thrown out, what's going on. The officials are motioning for, and it looks like it's A.J. Castle. Okay, the touchdown still stands. A.J. Castle's been ejected. And what's bad about that is he's ejected for next week's game against Montgomery County. And we've got a personal foul on, and the touchdown stands. So that makes it 21-7. And they're spotting the ball for the extra point. Got Ruwine to kick the extra point. Snaps a little high, and it's no good. with 4:46 to go in the first quarter. Anderson 21, Woodford 7. And we've got another flag. This is one of those games where it's 4:46 to go in the first quarter, and it is already out of hand. This has been a rivalry for a long time. It was a rivalry in 1962 when Versailles won their state championship, and it's been pretty much a rivalry ever since. So we've got another flag, and we've got unsportsmanlike against Anderson. So I guess we're going to mark off 15 one way and mark off 15 the other. Okay, 21-7 Anderson. Got Rewind to kick off. Now I don't know what happened to the other. There should have been a personal foul penalty somewhere that they called on Woodford County. Okay, so Anderson's kicking off from the 25 in all this mess. Rewind sends it down to the 25 of Woodford County. And he's hit by Cornish. And Fink on the 49-yard line. We must have an equipment malfunction or something. We were down here changing jerseys, and first and 10 Woodford on the 49. Woodford puts receivers left and right with two wings. Man in motion. Quarterback's keeping it. And he's down by Derringer. That's a 10-yard loss. Second and 19 for Woodford. Woodford has two wides to this side, a wing to the far side. Man in motion. There's a pitch to the far side, and there's Wilhite for no gain. Third and 19. .328 left to go in the first quarter. It's had a whole game's worth of action so far. Woodford has receivers left and right. Put a man in motion. That's not going to fly. Now they had a man in motion and the receiver jumped. That's going to make it 3rd and 25. Third and 25 for Woodford. This time they've got two receivers to this side. Man in motion. Fake the pitch. Anderson's back there on the quarterback. And there's a flag down. There's another flag down. I think we've got probably, as my guess is going to be offsetting penalties here. I think we've got a hold and maybe a face mask. Holding against Woodford. Face mask against Anderson. Going to offset. Still going to be 3rd and 25. All right, here we go. Woodford puts a man wide to each side. And the quarterback is back in shotgun. There's a punt. And it's getting an Anderson County bounce back to the 31-yard line with 2:50 to go in the first quarter. Anderson 21, Woodford 7. And And let's see what we got here. Timeout Anderson with 2:50 in the first quarter, ahead 21-7.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, I think that was John Michael Woollums that they called timeout to get John Michael Woollums and get a lineman's jersey on him. Okay, they said, the coach said that was Derringer. There's a handoff this way to Collins. He's got to the outside, and he's out of bounds at the 45-yard line where it'll be 1st and 10 Bearcats. Anderson has 2 receivers to this side, 1 to the far side. There's Gillis keeping it on the option. He pitches it to Maxbury. Maxbury cuts it back. He's cutting all the way across the green. We had a great block. We've got a flag on the play. We've got 2 flags on the play. I tell you what, Cornish made a great block. But that's all going to be for naught because it's going to come back. It's going to be 1st and about 12 for Anderson. First and 12 for Anderson on their own 42. Now, for anybody that was interested, Woodford County punt, that was a 3rd down punt that Woodford County made last time. Not that it made a whole lot of difference, but in case you thought I'd lost track of downs, I hadn't. Anderson has receivers left and right. Collins in motion. Handoff up the middle to Maxbury, and he doesn't get much, if anything. Going to be 2nd and 11. Second and 11. Anderson puts 2 receivers to the far side. That's to Collins, and he's going down the far side. We've got a flag that I think is going to be for defensive holding. Yeah, that was defensive holding. They grabbed Collins when he was making his cut. His jersey was stretched out. 1st and 10 Bearcats on the Woodford 35. Anderson goes 3 wide, 2 to this side, 1 to the far side. There's a counter play to Maxbury, and he's down. He loses maybe a half a yard. And back to the original line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 for Anderson. Anderson has a wide each side. Gillis keeps it, cuts it up, and he gets a couple. Well, he didn't get anything. I thought he'd gotten a little farther than that. 3rd and 10 for the Bearcats, and that's going to be your last play of the first quarter. Anderson 21, Woodford 7.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Okay, we've got the rowdiest student section in the state going down there. Bearcat student section. They get wound up every game. This was space night, and there's probably enough space cadets down there for the whole academy. And before we get going here, I'd like to say hi to John Herndon, sports editor at Anderson News. Had knee surgery Monday, and this is the first game he's missed in a long time. Miss seeing John down on the sideline. Okay, 3rd and 10 for the Bearcats. 2 receivers this way, a slot to the far side. And second quarter doesn't get started before Anderson calls timeout. Third and 10 Anderson. Gillis is back. He's rolling this way, getting pressure, and he's down for about a 20. Oh, they've got a face mask in there. I don't know if it's a face mask or unsportsmanlike. Face mask. Well, nothing else. Anderson will get the down over. Be 3rd and about 20. Third and 20 for Anderson. They said Collins has almost 100 yards rushing in the first quarter. Okay, Anderson has receivers left and right. Gillis is looking. He's cutting it up. He's going to run it. He's got a blocker out there. And he's going to be First down, Anderson. That's a 20-yard run for Jagger Gillis. Take it down to the 23-yard line of Woodford County, where Anderson will have it, 1st and 10. Anderson puts receivers left and right. Puts Collins in motion. He's got it on the jet sweep. He cuts it up. And he's going to lose one or two. It's going to make it 2nd and 11 for Anderson on the 18-yard line. Anderson has his receivers left and right. Collins in motion again. There's a handoff up the middle to Maxbury, and he drives through a tackle, and he gets 6 or 7. It's going to be 3rd and 5. Anderson has receivers left and right. Collins in the slot. Comes in motion. Gillis is back. He's looking. Oh, he had Ruwine across the middle and just didn't lead him quite enough. Defender just got his hand in there. Going to be 4th and 5. Anderson has 2 receivers to this side, 1 to the far side. They're after Gillis, and that's incomplete. He was going for Ruwine in the end zone, but it was incomplete, and Woodford will take over. On their own 18. .38 to go in the first half, 21-7 Bearcats. Woodford has a receiver wide each side. Man in motion. Quarterback's rolling, getting pressure. Cornish is after him. Fakes out Cornish. Oh, there's the block in the back. And he's tackled by Chilton, but there's going to be a block in the back. And we've got all kinds of flags out there again. Boy, Woodford County player leveled Chilton, but he got him in the back. Okay, it looks like we've got offsetting penalties. I'm not sure what we've got. Okay, called a blindside block on Woodford County. That's That must be. I'm not sure what the deal is. There's 15-yard penalty. Woodford has it on the 19 where they had it on the 18 originally. And we're trying to figure. I'm not sure anybody quite knows what's going on. I don't think any of these. Okay, here we go. 1st and 12 for Woodford. They put a man in motion. There's the fullback, and he gets maybe a yard. And we've got fingers pointing and all kinds of neat stuff going on the outside. 2nd and 9 for Woodford. Woodford puts receivers wide to each side. Man in motion. Fake the pitch. There's a little swing pass to the outside. He runs through a couple of Bearcats, and Wilhite brings him down up on the 44-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 for Woodford. There was something you don't see very often, is Cornish missing the tackle. First and 10 Woodford, put a man in motion. There's the fullback, and he has nothing. That was Williamson. Second and 10 for Woodford. .7:30 to go in the first half. 21-7 Bearcats. Man in motion. Fake the pitch. Quarterback's going back and throws it behind the receiver up on the 45-yard line. Receiver was open, but the pass was bad. Third and 10 for Woodford. Receivers left and right. Man in motion. Quarterback's going back. They're going out there deep, and it's well overthrown. Now Woodford keeps the same personnel in, whether they're going to punt or run a play here. Yeah, they've got the quarterback. The quarterback must be the punter. He's only back 7 yards. Collins back. Ooh, boy, I tell you what, Cornish almost got to that. And it's out of bounds, and Anderson's going to get it. Somewhere. On the 35-yard line where Anderson will take over, 1st and 10. Well, after an orgy of scoring in the first 4 minutes, it just gets kind of settled down to each team kind of shooting themselves in the foot. Anderson has a wide, a slot. There's a sweep to Collins, and he's tripped up at the 42-yard line for a gain of a couple. Second and 8 for Anderson. Motion Collins farther out. Gillis has it. It's coming across the middle to Collins, and he drops it. Third and 8. Third and 8 for Anderson. Got 3 wide. Gillis keeps it. Pitches it to Maxberry. And Maxberry puts his head down and gets the first down. And we've got all kinds of flags out there. And just by body language, I say it's against Anderson. Holding against Anderson, that'll make it, if from the spot, make it third and about 7. No. Well, it's obviously not, it's not from the spot where I saw it, so it's third. Okay. They have completely lost me now. Okay. Personal foul against Anderson after the first down. Okay. Now we got it. Thought the first signal he gave was holding. Okay. All right. Anderson puts a man in motion. Gillis pitches it back to Maxberry. Maxberry cuts it up, and has 8. Second and 2 for Anderson. Six minutes to go in the half. 21-7 Bearcats. Anderson has receivers left and right. Collins in motion. There's a handoff again to Maxberry, and he has the first down. First and 10 Bearcats on the 47. Well, the student section, the principal might be a better show than the ball game here. I don't know. Here we're gonna. Okay, looks like we're maybe a couple of Woodford County students running them out. I don't know what's going on. Okay, first and 10 Bearcats on the 47. And we've got a flag for delay of game on Anderson. First and 15 for Anderson. Anderson puts 2 receivers to this side. Nope, now they're swinging. Rewind to the far side. Gillis is back. He's going out there deep. He's got Ruwine wide open. He's going to walk into the end zone. Touchdown, Bearcats. They completely ignored Ruwine. He was 15 yards behind the Woodford County defenders. All right, let's see if we can get a snap back there this time. That snap bounces back again, but Scrap does a good job, and Ruwine got it up and through with 4:31 to go in the first half. Anderson 28, Woodford 7.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
All right. 4:31 to go in the first half. 28-7 Bearcats. Rewind to kick off. I think we went about 15 minutes with nobody scoring there. Pretty long drought considering the way the first 4 minutes of this game went. There's the kick. It's back to the 5 where it's taken. Coming to this side, we've already got a flag on the play, and Anderson dumps him on the inside the 20, and that's Will Hoyt. And apparently we've got a block in the back. And Will Hoyt's walking off gingerly. Chop block, that's going to be half the distance to the goal line. That's generally 15 yards, so that'll take it down to the 9 where Woodford will have it 1st and 10. Woodford comes out, has wides to each side, 2 wings. Man in motion. Pitch coming this way. There's Will Hoyt and Maxberry. That's a gain. That's going to be close to a 1st down. That's a gain of 7. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong. I'm sorry, that's a gain of 5. I was looking at the wrong marker there. Woodford has receivers left and right. They've got a big split on the left side of their line. Put a man in motion. Quarterback's going back. They're going out there deep, and that's going to be interference. Yep. Chilton and the receiver got their legs tied up, and be first and 10 for Woodford. I don't think so. Hey, they've got this all wrong. This is not the NFL. There we go. There we go. Yeah, this is not the NFL. I think these officials' theme song might be Sending the Clowns. Okay, first down Woodford on the 29. Woodford has receivers left and right. Man in motion. Quarterback's going back. Anderson's trying to get to him. He's running away. Slips down again, trying to cut it up. And Anderson grabs him on the 16-yard line. Okay, that was Derringer. 65's now Derringer. Okay. Timeout Woodford County with 3:53 to go. First half, Anderson 28, Woodford 7.
You're watching Anderson County Sports TV. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, let's see here. Woodford has it 2nd and 20 and change. Got receivers left and right. 3:53 to go in the first half. Man in motion. Quarterback's going back. Anderson's getting pressure, and it's well overthrown. Had Max Berry back there on the coverage. Third and 20. Woodford puts receivers left and right. Man in motion. There's the fullback, and he gets a couple, and it's going to be 4th and a long way. This looks like this might be an official punt. Anderson looks like they're going to be sending everybody. And we've got delay of game, I'm sure, on delay of game on Woodford. Looks like Anderson's coming after this one. There's a snap. Oh, they're faking it. And there's a tackle before the first down. Good play by Scrap Russell. Anderson will take over on the 30 with 2:46 to go before the half. First and 10 Anderson on the Woodford 30. 2:46 to go in the first half. Anderson has no timeouts left. Anderson has receivers left and right. That looked like a busted play, and Max Berry spun down for about 8 yards. That looked like a busted play there. I don't know if Max Berry was supposed to have handed the ball off to Collins on the reverse, but kept his head, and he made 7 yards out of it. Anderson has receivers left and right. There's a halfback pass by. There's a halfback pass by Max Berry, and it wasn't close to Collins. Going to make it 3rd and 4. And best guess is Anderson's going to the wishbone here. Considering who just went in. And Anderson didn't have enough men on the field. Collins is still driving. He gets inside the 15. Anderson didn't have enough men on the field. Putting big Michael Williamson in. You got Williamson and Jacob Luster in there. That's everybody charge. And timeout Woodford County. 1:40 to go in the first half. 28-7 Bearcats.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
First and 10 for the Bearcats on the Woodford 14. 1:40 to go. Neither team has a timeout the rest of the way. Anderson's in the wishbone. There's the hand off to Russell. He's going for the corner, and he's in. Got Rewind in to try the point. And there's another bad snap. Russell doesn't make it this time. And it's 34-7, 1:34 to go in the first half.
I'm Tiffany Azanero.
Hi, and I'm Tia Chilton.
And we are Lawrenceburg Almost Live. We host this show weekly, and it's on the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook. And and we try to talk to you about all the events and happenings in Lawrenceburg for the week. So
be sure to join us. Check us out every week.
sometimes we tell some funnies.
Yeah,
Maybe.
sometimes not.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes we're not funny.
But-
It's not funny. But we're telling you about what's happening in Lawrenceburg and Anderson County, and
All that's good.
current stuff,
Current stuff.
and promoting our kids and our hawks in Anderson County, and telling you about all the good stuff that you may not get to hear otherwise, because Lexington, the little channels don't really cover us so much, and they put out some tragedy or something going on. So we got all the good stuff.
Yes. So come over to the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook and check us out.
Okay, minute 34 left in the first half. 34-7 Bearcats. Rewind to kick off. It's a squibber. It rolls past the return man, and he's buried back there inside the 10-yard line. That was Ross Chapman. Just buried the Woodford County returner. And there's a minute 30 to go in the first half. We'll see if Woodford's just going to be content to sit on this, or if they receive the second half kickoff. See what they're going to do. Woodford puts wide to each side. And Woodford's just going to try and get out of here. Take a knee. I'm trying to think here. It's going to be awful close where they can run this clock out or not. Because they just marked the ball ready for play. And there's another knee. Yeah, they can run it out. They can run it out just. And this probably is going to be the last play of the first half. And that is going to be the last play of the first half. Anderson 34, Woodford 7.
Hello, Miss Sylvia. This is John from Anderson Apothecary. I was just calling to see how you were feeling today.
John goes above and beyond for each and every customer that we have.
He jumped right on it. If someone needed help, John would be the first guy there. No questions asked, nothing. He'll be there.
John just wanted to open a hometown pharmacy just to take better care of his customers.
Well, I sure am glad you're feeling better. We're going to be bringing your medication by here just shortly. Is there anything else I can pick up for you?
If you haven't met John yet, come out and meet him, and you'll like him just as much as we do.
You're watching Anderson County Sports TV.
I'm Tiffany Avanero.
Hi, and I'm Tia Chilton.
And we are Lawrenceburg Almost Live. We host this show weekly, and it's on the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook. And we try to talk to you about all the events and happenings in Lawrenceburg for the week. So
Be sure to join us. Check us out every week.
sometimes we tell some funnies.
Yeah,
Maybe.
sometimes not.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes we're not funny.
But-
It's not funny. But we're telling you about what's happening in Lawrenceburg and Anderson County, and
All that's good.
current stuff,
Current stuff.
and promoting our kids and our hawks in Anderson County, and telling you about all the good stuff that you may not get to hear otherwise, because because, you know, Lexington and rural channels don't really cover us so much unless we got some tragedy or something going on. So we got all the good stuff.
Yes. So come over to the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook and check us out.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Woodford has the ball, looks like on their own 19. Put a receiver wide to each side. Man in motion. There's the fullback, and there's maybe a yard. That was Derringer and Stratton. Gain of a yard. Woodford has wides to each side. Man in motion. Quarterback's going back. Throws a short route out here. He's missed. And Cornish comes from his linebacker position and gets him down. Cornish must have run 25 yards to make that tackle after he was missed. First and 10 Woodford on their own 45. This time Woodford puts two receivers to the same side. Man in motion. There's the pitch. There's Will Hoyt back there, and Will Hoyt drags him down. Nice play by Justin for a loss of one. Woodford might go a long way if they would fake that pitch and run a counter back to this side. I don't know if they have that play in their playbook, but Woodford has receiver to each side. Put the man in motion. Quarterback's rolling. Anderson's trying to get to him, and it's overthrown. Third and 11. Receivers to each side. Man in motion. Quarterback's back. Anderson trying to get to him. They're going out there deep. And good play by Maxbury. Good play by Maxbury. Knock that ball down. Actually, it was about 50-50 whether it was a good play by Maxbury or a good play by the Woodford receiver to keep Maxbury from intercepting. Woodford's in that short punt formation. And it's bouncing, getting a great Woodford County bounce down to the 9-yard line where Anderson will take over. First and 10 with 9:42 to go in the third quarter. And Woodford, that had, like I said, had been averaging 40 points a game, only had 125 yards in that first half. And Anderson had 341. They averaged 10 yards a carry. Anderson has receivers wide left and right. There's a handoff up the middle to Collins, and he gets 4. Second and 6 for Anderson. Anderson puts 2 receivers to the far side, 1 to this side. There's a snap to Gillis. Gillis has it on the option. Oh, passes it behind him to Collins. Collins tries to get out of the end zone. He does. Gets around the corner, and he's knocked out of bounds on the 6-yard line. And that's going to make it 3rd and 13. He got it to the 8, so it's 3rd and 11 for Anderson. And Anderson apparently didn't have enough people on the field. Well, they didn't have the right people on the field. We'll put it like that. Anderson puts 2 wides to the far side, 1 to this side. There's a comeback pass. And I don't know if that's a catch and a fumble. That's a catch and a fumble. I'm not sure who he threw that to. Woodford has it first and 10 on Anderson's 15. Woodford puts receivers left and right. Man in motion. They fake the pitch this time. They're rolling out to the far side. Quarterback's trying to cut it back. And boy, I think he's got a touchdown. He is a shifty little devil. He's apparently down to the 1. Boy, I tell you what, he is a shifty little devil. I thought they had him 2 or 3 times. He's down to the 1. And timeout Anderson. 8:36 to go in the third quarter. 34-7 Anderson.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender. Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, first and goal for Woodford on the Anderson 1 after that turnover. Woodford has wides to each side. Quarterback keeps it, and he didn't get in. Oh, yeah, he did. Okay. I thought they got him. Touchdown, Woodford County. (34-13). Woodford looks like they're going for two. They're trying to throw the slant, and there's a flag on the play. Somebody blocked, knocked the ball down, and there's a flag on the play. Holding against Woodford is declined. So with 8:32 to go in the third, Anderson 34, Woodford 13. That didn't make any sense to go for two. You're 21 down.
Hello, Miss Sylvia. This is John from Anderson Apothecary. I was just calling to see how you were feeling today.
John goes above and beyond for each and every customer that we have.
He jumped right on it. If someone needed help, John would be the first guy there. No questions asked, nothing. He'll be there.
John just wanted to open a hometown pharmacy just to take better care of his customers.
Well, I sure am glad you're feeling better. We're going to be bringing your medication by here just shortly. Is there anything else I can pick up for you?
If you haven't met John yet, come out and meet him, and you'll like him just as much as we do.
Okay, 34-13 Anderson. Woodford ready to kick off. Anderson looks like they've got their hands team in there. I'm really not sure why Woodford was going for two. They were 21 down. That would have made it 19, which didn't really make much sense, but they did, so didn't work. And there's an onside kick, and Cornish has it at the 48-yard line where Anderson will take over, 1st and 10. And Anderson's coming out, going to come out in the wishbone. Anderson's got Will Hoyt in the front, Max Berry and Collins on the back. Woodford has everybody within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. Oh, that's Russell. Russell comes through there. He's got a first down. Thought that was Max Berry, but it was Russell. First down Bearcats on the 40. First and 10 Bearcats. Double tight. Like I say, Woodford's got 11 guys up. There's a counter play to Collins, and they're not going to catch him. Touchdown Bearcats. Once Collins broke the line, they were not going to catch him. They were in a little counter play, and that was it. Okay, let's see if we can get a good snap here. There we go. And it's good with 7:57 in the third quarter. Anderson 41, Woodford 13.
Lawrenceburg Almost Live. We host this show weekly, and it's on the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook. And we try to talk to you about all the events and happenings in Lawrenceburg for the week. So
Be sure to join us. Check us out every week.
sometimes we tell some funnies,
Yeah,
Maybe.
sometimes not.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes we're not funny.
but
It's not funny. But we're telling you about what's happening in Lawrenceburg and Anderson County and
all that's good.
current stuff.
Current stuff.
And promoting our kids and our hawks in Anderson County and telling you about all the good stuff that you may not get to hear otherwise because, you know, Lexington and little channels don't really cover us so much.
All right, Anderson ready to kick off. Scored in about 3 plays. Rewind to kick off. And what do we got here? We've got a flag. And I'm not sure what we've got. Oh, we got delay a game, I bet. Got delay a game. I don't know that I've ever seen that on a kickoff. Okay, rewind to kick off. There's a low liner that's picked up on the 25. And he's tackled down there. Nice tackle by Chapman. Nice tackle. 7:52 to go in the third. Woodford puts 2 receivers to this side, 1 to the far side. Quarterback's going back. They're throwing us through and out over there, and it was too wide for the receiver. 2nd and 10. Woodford has wide to each side. Quarterback faked the pitch, and there was good pressure on the quarterback by Derringer. 3rd and 10 for Woodford. Third and 10. Man in motion. Quarterback's going back. Good play by Will Hoyt. No, that was Ruwine. I'm sorry. Good play by Ruwine. He separated that receiver from the ball. Very, very nice. Very nice. Fourth and 10. They're in that short punt formation. There's the kick. Collins is back there getting a Anderson County bounce. And it's going to be on about the 35-yard line where Anderson will take over 1st and 10. With 7:37 to go in the third. 41-13 Bearcats. Anderson's in the wishbone again. Woodford's got everybody up. Gillis is back. Oh, they've got Collins out here wide open, and there's 7. I was just waiting for them to do that. They've got that takeoff play off of that. As a matter of fact, he had John Michael Woolham's wide open too. He could have thrown to either one of them. (47-13). And Anderson's going for 2, trying to get a running clock here. Anderson's in the wishbone. There's the handoff to Scrap Russell, and he's in. Now it's 7:27 to go in the third quarter. We'll have a running clock, 49-13 Bearcats.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127.
Okay, we've got rewind to kick off. We'll have a running clock for the last quarter and a half here. There's another squibber. It's a high bouncer. It's taken. And that was Chilton that had the quarterback's jersey. There's no tearaway jersey there. That thing's about a size bigger now. First and 10 for Woodford on their own 37. Woodford has receivers left and right. Man in motion. Quarterback's back. They're going out here deep, and it's overthrown by about, if their quarterback could take about 5 yards off of his passes, they would have had a lot more incompletions. He's 5 yards long on those long ones just almost every time. Once again, I want to thank everybody that stayed with us through that hour rain delay. Or actually, it was a lightning delay. There's a handoff for the fullback, and he's swallowed up there by Luster and Aldridge. Third and 10 for Woodford. Woodford has wides left and right. Put a man in motion. Quarterback's going back. They're going out here deep across the middle, and they do have a man out there this time. And Maxbury drags him down by the back of his jersey. And it's 1st and goal at the 4 for Woodford. Woodford puts receivers left and right. Quarterback's back, coming across the middle. Oh, almost intercepted by Ruwine. Second and goal at the 4. .3:30 to go in the third quarter. Woodford has receivers left and right. Man in motion. There's a counter play, and it's stuffed by the middle of the line. I don't think they got a thing. There was that counter play off that off the sweep that they tried, and there was the whole middle of Anderson's line there. 3rd and 4 at the 4. Man in motion. They fake the pitch. There's a swing pass out there, and there's a touchdown. And Anderson has somebody down. That was Ruwine. He's up now. 49-19. And we've got timeout for a Woodford player limps off. Woodford goes for 2. Quarterback's back. And that was Scrap Russell that had his hands on the ball. Well, I don't know why they're not running the clock. They should be running the clock. I don't understand why they're not. 2:03 to go in the third quarter. Anderson 49, Woodford 19.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Team in there. And it's taken by Wilhite. He's bringing it to this side. Oh, there was a good block there. And Wilhite's driving down to the 35. They've got another flag down here. And I think they're saying that's another blindside block. I tell you what, it looked like a good block to me. That looked like an awfully good block. Oh me, I tell you what, for anybody that wants to see how you play football anymore, go to Green Bay Packers How to Sack a Quarterback. And it's just lay them down with a pillow under their head and give them a kiss on the forehead. Gee, Merry Christmas. That's sad. And this looks like this is going to be the last play of the fourth quarter. Anderson's in the wishbone. There's a counter play to Russell. And he gets a couple. And that's the last play of the third quarter. Anderson 49, Woodford 19.
I'm Tiffany Azanero.
Hi, and I'm Tia Chilton.
And we are Lawrenceburg Almost Live. We host this show weekly, and it's on the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook. And we try to talk to you about all the events and happenings in Lawrenceburg for the week. So
Be sure to join us. Check us out every week.
sometimes we tell some funnies,
Yeah,
maybe.
sometimes not.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes we're not funny.
But-
It's not funny. But we're telling you about what's happening in Lawrenceburg and Anderson County, and
All that's good.
current stuff.
Current stuff.
And promoting our kids and our hawks in Anderson County, and telling you about all the good stuff that you may not get to hear otherwise, because Lexington and little channels don't really cover us so much unless we got some tragedy or something going on. So we have all the good stuff.
Yes. So come over to the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook and check us out.
Okay, Anderson takes over. It's 2nd and 5. Start of the fourth quarter. Anderson trying to see who Anderson has in the backfield. They've got Will Hoyt, Russell, and Maxberry. They've got Collins sitting out here on the sideline. Anderson's in the wishbone. There's the handoff to Russell. And Scrap brings it up to the 30. Going to be 3rd and 5. Third and 5 for Anderson. There's the pitch this way to Maxberry. Makes a man miss, and he's got the first down. And boy, Colton Cornish just buried somebody out here. And looks like we've got the JV coming in. And we've got a whole bunch of. We've got a timeout. With 10:55 to go in the game, Anderson 49, Woodford 19.
Today's game is brought to you by Century Bank. Anderson County is where our heart is. Century Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Okay, here we go. Anderson's got the JV in here now. Let's see here. We'll try and get some numbers here. Got 72 Cole Johnson at center. 7 Ross Chapman. 47 Braden Hillen. 29 Amos Searcy. 22 at quarterback, Caden Coulter. There's the handoff to Isaiah Fitzpatrick. 59, Jaden Vance. 79 is Carson Grimes. 44, Chase Fink. 2nd and 10. Uh, 16, Evan Peters. There's the pitch to the far side, and Redmond's brought down. It's going to be 3rd and 10. Okay, Charles Collins has 153 yards this game. Max Berry has 81. There's a handoff this way to Fitzpatrick, and he loses about 5. Fourth and 10. Got Woolham's in to punt for Anderson. There's a snap. Oh, Woolham's gets a nice punt away. It's picked up. It's dropped. And there's Joe Taylor on the tackle. $8:40 to go. Yeah, Woodford still got their first team in there. Put a man in motion. There's a reverse, and Anderson's right there, and he gets a couple. That was Aldridge. Woodford has receivers left and right. Man in motion, quarterback's rolling out. They're going out there deep, and there's a nice catch out there by the receiver on the Anderson 39 with 7 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the game. Woodford puts a man in motion, quarterback's back, and he throws that 5 yards over the receiver's head. 6.5 minutes to go in the game. We got a flag on the play. Sideline violation on Woodford County. And that's a 15-yard penalty. That must have been Woodford's second violation. 2nd and 25. Put a man in motion. Quarterback's back. Coming across the middle. Almost intercepted by Russell. Five minutes to go in the game. Third and a bunch. Quarterback's going straight back. Anderson's trying to get to him. Fink grabs him and brings him down. (56-34).
Montgomery over.
Fourth down and a bunch. Fourth down and a mile for Woodford. Put a man in motion. They're going out there deep, and it's overthrown. With 3:50 to go, Anderson will take over. Just got a score from Montgomery County. Montgomery County beat Madison Southern 58-34. So Anderson and Montgomery next week probably be for all the marbles in the district. There's the handoff. And Chapman comes up for 7 or 8. $2:50 to go in the game. Anderson has Richmond Boggs in at quarterback. We got big Cody Grimes in there, just a freshman. He's 6'8", 350. Here comes a pitch this way. And that was to Holt. No, 24, I'm sorry. That was Isaiah Fitzpatrick. 3rd and 3. 2 minutes to go. Want to remind you, next week's game against Montgomery County will not be live. Next streamed game will be 2 weeks from tonight against Madison Southern on senior night. There's a handoff to Fink, and Fink has the first down. Got a minute 40 to go in the game. First and 10 for Anderson. There's the pitch this way. It's a little high to Fitzpatrick. He's trying to get to the outside and gets maybe a yard. There's the pitch to the far side to Redmond, and he's down to about the 11-yard line. We've got the Anderson cheerleaders singing the fight song with no accompaniment because there is no band tonight. They decided to go on spring break a week early. So there's no band tonight, and that looks like this is going to be the last play of the ball game. Final score, Anderson 49, Woodford 19, and we'll be back with the final stats in just a minute.
I'm Tiffany Azanero.
Hi, and I'm Tia Chilton.
And we are Lawrenceburg Almost Live. We host this show weekly, and it's on the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook. And we try to talk to you about all the events and happenings in Lawrenceburg for the week. So
Be sure to join us. Check us out every week.
sometimes we tell some funnies,
Yeah,
Maybe.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes not.
Sometimes we're not funny.
but
Not funny. But we're telling you about what's happening in Lawrenceburg and Anderson County and
all that's good.
current stuff.
Current stuff.
And promoting our kids and our hawks in Anderson County and telling you about all the good stuff that you may not get to hear otherwise because, Lexington and little channels don't really cover us so much unless we got some tragedy or something going on. So we got all the good stuff.
Yes. So come over to the Lawrenceburg channel on Facebook and check us out.
Today's game is brought to you in part by Anderson Apothecary, the cure for the common drugstore. Anderson Apothecary, just across the street from the high school on Highway 127. You're watching Anderson County Sports TV.
Okay, final stats. Final score, Anderson 49, Woodford 19. Anderson had 20 first downs, Woodford 7. Anderson had 327 yards rushing, 174 yards passing for 501 yards. Woodford had 250. Charles Collins had 10 rushes for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns. Brendan Maxbury had 94 yards. Jagger Gillis and Scrap Russell each had rushing touchdowns. Gillis was 5 out of 8 for 174 yards with 3 touchdowns, and that had to be a quarterback rating of about 180. Charles Collins had 2 receptions for 85 yards and a touchdown. Wesley Ruwine had 1 for 58 and a touchdown. Brendan Maxbury 1 for 23 and a touchdown, and Aaron Chilton had 1 reception. Justin Wilhoit had 5 tackles. Cornish had 5. Derringer had 5, and Chilton had 3. The game started out like it was going to be like a video game. I mean, there were 3 touchdowns in less than 4 minutes, and 4 in less than 7, and then it finally settled down with Anderson finally taking control about halfway through the second quarter and pulling out to a 34-7 halftime lead and winding up winning 49-19. Well, we want to thank everybody that stayed with us and watched through the lightning delay. And next week Anderson will be at Montgomery County. We got a score from Montgomery County. Montgomery beat Madison Southern 58-34. So apparently there might be a whole lot of points scored next week. The game will not be live streamed. It will be on delay, but we will be there. I want to thank Anderson County Sports TV for doing the game. And once again, from Holly Warford Stadium, Bob Ware Field, Anderson 49, Woodford 19. Good night, everybody.